Thank you for joining us once again for another episode of Manhood. And I know I keep saying this, and I say this all the time, and I keep saying this.
Yeah,
because we keep saying it. Thank you, Johanse. I haven't introduced you yet, but yes, okay. So we are now at another episode of Manhood, a discussion rather. And we're approaching is because I haven't really come down to what number we are at. But we're nearing 100, which to me is really something, because we started this off to really get in touch with the young men out there to discuss why are we so angry? What is it that leads us to domestic violence, to thoughts of disrespect, which is why our topic today is simply aggression. So to get straight into it, manhood, where we always aim to be better as brothers. To my right, my brother, Johanse Ayodike, behavior change consultant. Yes, you're a brother. To his right, the one and only Kevin DaCosta, better known as Johnny Bravo, celebrity bodyguard with the stance. You know, I don't know if it's the all-seeing eye but it's the well-known stance. And to his right, Salim Bihari, better known as Master Salim, simply cultural ambassador. I got that, nailed it. See, singer, songwriter, producer, all the rest of it. But we're gonna bring it, summarize it all into cultural ambassador. So, guys, we smiling now. But we all have it. We're all guilty of it. It's all happened throughout our lives. Some of us are led by it. Some of us control it. Some don't know why they're always in that state. But it's definitely there. There's a level of aggression, whether we could simply, Johanse, just bring it into testosterone, environment, societal upbringing, misunderstanding. But there's just a lot of anger going around.
All right, well, I like to set the premise first in defining what something is, right? So if you're going by a dictionary meaning, aggression is a behavior, not a feeling. Anger is a feeling, because we could be angry without aggression. Aggression is more attacking somebody without provocation. So some aggression is more you're looking for something.
But not necessarily physically attacking, but just some level of attacking.
You could be cussing somebody, right, but you're just looking for a fight now, right? Because I could be angry, but I'm not really talking to nobody, So I want to set that premise first, because understand, I would say anger is a normal thing. We all feel anger. I mean, I don't know nobody who never feel any anger. But aggression is more of a choice. So I set in that premise first, and then we could hear from everybody else. So where's aggression?
So we feeling that? Like it's a choice? Because
it has to be a choice. Because exactly what he just said really took me about 15 years ago, and then it brought me right to present. Because 15 years ago, when I got angry, I didn't know what to do with it. And the norm when you feel anger is to lash out. Okay. And that's exactly what I used to do.
So then you immediately converted to aggression then?
Physical or verbal, or a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. Not so much physical, because as you can see, my build, I really built for that kind of fight business. You know what I mean?
Well, small axes cut big tree. Eh?
But that'll stop aggression,
this axe doll. No, but back then, it used to be, if you didn't explode when you got angry, I felt like it used to damage me mentally. So whether it be a fight with a sibling, verbal or physical, it had to happen, because I felt like my brain cells were frying just thinking about this. And when I would explode, when I say explode, I talk about a big badge on and this kind of big...
Whatever level, yeah.
It gave me the opportunity to realize that I did something stupid, and then reflect on the situation, the action, the reaction, and the outcome. And at that point in time is when I would be like, I really didn't have to be like that, or I really didn't have to say that, I could have resolved this different, and then I'd be like, wait, but then it happened again. And not knowing how to control anger. You lash out again. You understand? Bro, I telling you, I remember going to events And me and promoters getting away real bad. I telling you, a simple thing as rainfall, you shift my time. You mad or what? You crazy. I don't care if 40 artists had to perform. You cannot shift my time, shift everybody else. It was that level of ignorance.
Okay.
So you see the mix.
He say ignorance, he say anger, right?
Ignorance,
Yeah.
Right.
So I think each one of them is like a chain. You had to be ignorant to not to know how to control anger.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? If you are not ignorant, you would understand what is anger, what is triggering it, and start to talk to yourself one time. That's
Okay.
what I do now.
Okay,
So
that's good.
the anger. So with anger, like you said, it's an emotion.
Mm-hmm.
The aggression comes with when you act on it, and you attack, whether it be silently, whether it be emotionally, whether it be physically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that. So if we're talking about the aggression, but why are we all angry? Why is this always? There's just a level of. Everybody's on the verge, like a pressure cooker is almost your one, whether it be road rage, we're one step away from, even if you're just thinking it in your mind, like somebody says something and based on the scenario, it could be a boss, it could be the fact that you know you're going to get in trouble, but you have the feeling, you have the feeling of wanting to, like you say, lash out, is it? And I'm not sure whether it's a new thing, whether it's testosterone, is it social media?
No, it's not new at all, but Kevin, talk to me first, tell me your thoughts and then we'll jump.
I would say experience, but everybody's story is different. When I went to high school, I used to play pro football, American football, with helmet and pads, and yes, a lot of aggressive, a lot of anger, you take it to the quarterback or the running back or even the wide receiver. So you take all your anger in that field, and that's how when you get older and wiser, you get to control it. And like what Salim says, like everybody do dumb in the past. You know what I mean? Anger. I don't like that dude. I want to mess him up. You know? But in your mind, you're like, well, for what? It's just words, it's just talk.
Yeah, but that's the maturity, Johnny. That's the maturity to know, or even before you do it, or when you do it, to come back and in hindsight or in reflection, you can say, hey, you know, it was unnecessary, or why did I allow myself to be out of control instead of in control?
Yeah.
But that's one thing we want to discuss. Like, why do we have that aggressiveness in the first place?
No, but check this out. Sorry to cut you. As John,
But you're really sorry?
Well, no.
Well, I was saying you get me a little.
You see what she ready to get angry now. As Johnny just said, American football, take out your anger. So, for somebody who's viewing right now, and they want to get into American football, you have to first mentally prepare yourself to face angry dudes on a field, because guess what? He just said it. We come in there to take out anger. So if you want to get in that sport, hear what? Somebody gonna pass and hit you a spear just to get a ball. But it's really not the ball in the job.
Let me set a different
They
premise
seen
now.
you.
It may not be anger, you know, it may be aggression, right? Because,
Right.
I'll give you an example, right? I had a brief stint, maybe about 2 years, I played rugby, right? When I was in secondary school, right? I mean, so I compare it a little bit to it, right? And to tackle somebody, right? You would think is anger, but it's really aggression, because I'm not angry at anybody on the field. But part of it is I have to exert force. Either way, no. Now, some of it could be anger because emotions, somebody give me a bad tackle, your girlfriend break up with you, somebody get vexed in the morning, etc., right?
Yeah.
But is aggression also part of it, you know, because it's like a parent giving a child licks and they're not really vexed at the child, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because exerting that force or that aggression, sometimes you could separate it from anger. And I setting that a premise again.
So you're right. We have to really clarify that, because the anger, which is the emotion, I don't necessarily have to be angry with you. But if I'm playing a sport, I might be aggressive because in my personality I want to win, and it's something that you know drives me. But then, where does that then come from? Because if you are a silent soul, you know, a very docile spirit, are you going to be have that level of aggression, you know. And
you see, docile spirit. I don't know if anybody really is that. You know, even though somebody quiet, right? That don't mean that they don't have murderous thoughts in their mind.
A serial killer too, you know?
The other day, it was American stats, right? But so I don't know for Trinidad and other countries, but it says that in a lifetime, let's say average 70 years, you would have walked past.
Let me go with 80 now. I want to live.
The Bible tells you 72, or let me use 70 for now, right?
70 plus 10.
Right. Yeah. So it tells you in your lifetime, in the 70 years, you would have walked past 36 murderers unknowingly.
Wow.
Potential or people who actually
committed some sort of murder.
Well,
right? That starts from the USA. So again, I say I don't know for Trinidad.
That 36 in what a block.
Right.
No, you're from the hood.
No, but I'm being real. I understand where y'all coming from. All right. I used to be a angry individual when I was young. Like when I used to take all my anger in football, like Jonas said, and he said take it. I used to.
But why? Why you were angry?
No, because it's the sport. You want to be the best you could be. I was a linebacker. They used to call me assassin. My nickname was assassin. Like to kill the quarterback. You know what I mean? And I had to be a talker, you know what I mean? Even high school.
So you were aggressive, but you weren't angry?
No, I wasn't angry. I was aggressive.
Right. You see, and that's the clarification.
But because you must have some level of, it might be in the situation.
Well, I also
you might be
anger, aggression, all that thing was the same thing.
What I'm saying, Salim, is you might
fry by birds right over there.
You mightn't be angry in the particular moment, but the aggression would have come from something in the background that would have led to angry moment. Because if you're just a nice, quiet person, where you getting all this aggression from?
Okay.
But like you, for example, talking about, just to continue with his example, you know, you were a bully.
Yeah, I was a bully in school.
So this is what I'm saying. Where does that come from?
Why was a bully?
Let me tell you.
Yeah, tell us.
I was All-American high school, and everything used to come my way. I'm not lying to you. But when I say a bully, I said like, yo, give me your cookies now. Give me your brownies now. Like that, like in high school.
But why? Why used to do that?
Because
he's a bully.
No, he's right. Because you could see somebody who's not soft. You know what I mean? So when I saw that, I was like, yo, give me a cookie now. You don't want that. And just give it to me.
So you used to spot people who soft?
Yeah.
That's advantage.
That's correct.
That's not bully. That's being advantageous.
Yeah, I was.
But okay, so why used to pinpoint them, these soft people? Why used to do that? Why not pinpoint a big person?
No, I used to ask them too, but they don't want to give it up. They say, no, I'm eating my cookies, man.
So it's the easier way? So pinpointing
it was targets. It was targeted. You realize, hey, right. I could.
So that is not anger either, you know.
No, that's not even bullying.
That could even be strategy. No. Here and listen. Here, why I'm breaking it down. So because I'm coming back to what Robert was asking where the anger coming from, and it's good to understand what things are, because ignorance. You know, they say knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so the more we understand something, the more we can manage it, and we have power over it. Right. So I'm going with anger. So now I might fry your brain a little more. Now we have a few minutes before the break. Right.
Yeah.
There's a theory that anger is a secondary emotion. Nobody feels anger first. We feel something that we don't want to feel, and then replace it with anger. So let me give an example. Something could be different things. So, like we say in school, you get slapped, and everybody hear the slap, right? You feel embarrassment first, but you don't want to feel embarrassed, so you change to anger. Your girlfriend leave you, you feel hurt. You don't want to feel the hurt, so you feel anger. Right? Your parents tell you, can't do X, Y, Z. I'm frustrated, but I don't want to feel the frustration. I change it to anger. Tell me your thoughts on that.
Nah, you agree. I agree.
But it's not. I don't think it's necessarily you don't want to, because at that point you're not consciously making a choice. I think that's just what happens then to protect, or the next step from that.
Good. So, and you're right. It's not that you necessarily don't want to, but in that moment you don't have a solution. So once I don't have the solution to it, I get this thing that now metamorphosize into anger, so I do it. So right now, I want the cookies, but parents tell me I can't get, I don't have a solution, so I lash out. So this thing turns to anger. I get the slap, I embarrass, I don't have a solution, and so forth. My girl leave me, I don't have the solution, and so forth.
Because if you want the cookies and you had a solution, you could simply say, but Mom, you know, I'll clean the fridge, or I'll mop the floor, and then you sort of barter and negotiate. But if you simply don't have that at the moment, you mightn't have the strategy at that moment, that the anger comes in.
Right. So that's why. So then no anger would exist. So now you're asking the question now: why do so many people are angry? Is because they don't have the solution to whatever is the issue they're dealing with or the feelings they're dealing with.
And ladies just say that men don't know nothing. We know everything. Look,
but I know he know how I could get angry. It's because we need to go to
we need to go to a break.
So we need to go to a break.
You don't think, man, we go to the break.
For every occasion and celebration, it starts with Solera.
Right, so let's go. Let's try this. Oh. Let's get this. You mix. Oh.
Worry about the recipe,
It's ready.
not your investments.
Welcome.
Thank you. Oh, this cake is delicious.
Thanks, Mom.
First Line Securities. Invest with us.
Stomach discomfort again? Bloating, cramps, irregular bathroom habits? Meet Vivera, your daily support for a balanced gut. Vivera works fast to help reduce the abdominal pain, ease bloating, and support healthy digestion. It helps restore balance to your gut so you can get back to feeling light, comfortable, and in control. Choose for real digestive relief, safe, effective, and trusted for both children and adults. Now available at pharmacies nationwide. Vivera, feel the difference.
Are you battling diabetes, infertility, heart disease, or vision loss? Oxidative stress may be the hidden culprit, damaging cells and disrupting vital functions. The answer: antioxidants. Introducing N-Toxyl Fort, the super multi-antioxidant formula. With powerful ingredients like glutathione to detox and boost immunity, superoxide dismutase to neutralize free radicals, lutein and zeaxanthin to protect vision, and carotenoids to fight inflammation. Choose N-Toxyl Fort for powerful antioxidant support. Available now at pharmacies nationwide.
This is manhood. The topic is aggression. First, I want to say, Robert and Jonas and Master Salim, when I first came back home in 2000, I wasn't like adjusted because I'm more Americanized. So when I come back home, it's a third world country for me. So I started to learn some stuff, you know. The first name they say, oh, use a man. Or use a, what's the next word? All kind of names, but the I was more stand out because I was big and buff. So they used to call me all kind of names when I first came back home because, you know, I was big and strong. Then I started to work in a nightclub, like one of the worst clubs and all, like the Delay Disco. And, you know, it's to be a roughest club, fights and everything. And you should be all kind of thing going. You get hit by mistake and it's a lash out, hit back. So it's like defending yourself, but in the day, you're protecting yourself. Then after that, it's like,
So was that when you came to Trinidad? Was that another avenue for you to release some of that aggression? You said, let me go into being
I was a bouncer. Yeah, I was a bouncer, yes. I started because I wasn't working yet. Then my uncle, Harvey Boris, he knew Mickey Singh. So I ended up hooking up with him. He told me, I know this guy named Mickey Singh. I ended up going to the club, started on the atmosphere. I said, damn, this club looks rough. And after I ended up meeting the owner, talking to him, and I'm not gonna lie to you, the first thing he told me, do not lash, like hit back the patrons, trying to control it. And I used to, didn't take it on, I ain't gonna lie to you. But because I started to get learning more by the environment of Trinidad and Tobago, it's not like the States you could just knock somebody out and, you know what I mean? Trinidad's small. At the time it was 1.3, now it was like 1.5, whatever. But Trinidad's a small place, so if you beat up like a gangster or whatever,
they're rallying back for you.
They're coming back for you. And Mickey always tell me that at the back of my head. Remember,
but back then when you started, would have been more bottle and stone and coming back.
Yes, it was more bottle and stones. It wasn't no guns and stuff back then.
Correct. The culture, the big gun culture wasn't there.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. So basically, he used to always give me some wise words, and I thank Mickey Singh to this day, rest in peace. He used to tell me, cool your anger, cool your aggression. And that's what it was. And by then I started to learn more, learn how to deal with situation with two guys fighting, take the aggressive.
De-escalated.
And escalated and take the one outside, so it doesn't escalate outside. And that was it. I started to learn more and more every day when I started to get older.
So do you think that you have it under control? Or
Yes, I do. Yeah, from back then to now.
But we have under control your aggression or your anger?
Both.
So you don't see things that would may have the next step, as he said.
Trust me, both.
The way things happen, you no longer see it that way. That takes it to the next step of anger. You're wiser.
More wiser, yes.
So, but you in your line of work, Johnny, and you work with a lot of not just celebrities, but a lot of young people in many environments.
Yes, I have.
And there's an anger, there's an aggression, and I'm using both. That's there.
It's different now from back then to now, and I realize that.
In what way?
Because I ain't gonna lie to you, is like a 20-year gap. Is a lot of social media and everything is seized, and sometimes the youths of them are frustrated. They're frustrated to the max. They want to get this, they want to get that, but they have to work for it. And sometimes they don't want to work for it. They rather do the other things to work for it.
So it's the easy way out, the quick win.
Yeah, and they don't understand that there's only two ways you could go: in jail or 6 feet under.
And what you're saying is important. Now, we talk about technology because you mentioned social media once, and you also mentioned social media, right? And so, just saying social media, but to understand how social media then would encourage or maybe even germinate anger/aggression. So I'll give an example, and this could be for all of us. When we look at something on social media, no matter what it is, most times we want that. We see something and we want it, but you can't get it immediately. So immediately there's a degree of frustration that occurs. And then if you keep scrolling, now you might see the same thing, other things you want.
But would you not think it's greed before frustration? Because seeing something and wanting it, not knowing how to achieve it, that's greed.
No. Seeing when you want something and you don't need it or in excess, that's greed. So if I see, like we say, let's say I really need some shoes, right? I don't have shoes, my shoes in a mess, I don't, and I need shoes. Not that I want it or I just have a addiction for shoes. But I see a shoes I want. But when I see it on social media, I want it. I want it now. I see something I want. But so then there's a degree of frustration. Even if I have the money for it and I could order it on Amazon, I still not gain it. No. So then it will have a degree of frustration, and as I continue scrolling, I will see other things I want and other things I want. So what it is energy that now built up that have nowhere to go, right? So if I use an example, if I use physics for people who understand, the physics is as potential energy versus kinetic. So potential is I have a fist, I ball it up, like potential energy. And when I hit somebody, that is kinetic energy. So whenever we have a thought, so human behavior is thought into feeling into action. So what we think create energy and the feeling to fuel the action. But if it have no action, it's just thought and feeling, right? So then it's just energy building up. So I scroll, I see something, energy. Scroll, energy. And after all that energy, what happens? Nothing. So then now I'm walking around with that energy, and once that energy stays near too long, it has become toxic. So now I had to find something to let it out. So I just looking for somebody to tell me something. If you understand what I'm saying, I just looking in terms of.
It's important to let it out.
Yeah, of course.
But it's how you let it out. Like you come in and physically attacking somebody.
My brother used to be a boy boss with our face.
Ola younger.
Ola. Roxo.
And he okay now? He okay now?
He can beat my back up now, but back then.
But you see, whatever his next step is, so what you're looking at, you used to hit him a slap, right? Or burners, right? So if you hit him a burners, you getting a release.
Yeah.
But you hitting him now, he at that point is looking at the next step, which could have been anger, but he's measured the fact that if I hit you, I will get more licks. So it's not that he didn't want to do it. It's the fact that he probably told himself, I can't do it. But that doesn't mean his resentment towards you ain't building up to the point that he might be saying that one day I go and hit you with a f***ing 2x4.
Right. And that where the cycle start now. So you, I'm just giving you as an example. You unleash the energy in an unhealthy way to somebody else. Yeah. They get it. Now they now have the unhealthy energy and they're looking to do something else with it. And then we go so forth and so forth and so
forth. So when you now break into a house or you doing any level of crime, you're looking at that person almost as a figure to with say you in mind and taking it out on that other person, which is then unfortunate. But I mean, crime and everything else is unfortunate because we're not just talking about the criminal activity, we talk about all levels of aggression. It could be road rage. You just had an argument with your wife or your girlfriend or had a bad day at work, you're driving home now, and somebody is just, I mean,
somebody driving slow in the fast lane.
Wait. Let's talk about the aggression there, right? Because that immediately get me pressure cooker, right? But as someone pointed out to me, let's clarify something. First off, it's not the fast lane, right? It's not the fast lane. It is if it's a dual carriageway, let's say it is the outer lane. The law states keep left except when overtaken. Mm-hmm. So as I tell people, even though whether I'm within the speed limit, which is 100k, or whether I am exceeding the speed limit, we are now both breaking the law because you're not supposed to be in that lane anyway, because that lane is supposed to be clear for me to be able to overtake. So the fact that I might be exceeding the speed limit or maintaining the speed limit, and I now have to flash, beep, whatever the case may be, to get past, because a lot of times people say, well, you could just go on the inner lane, but then that's not what the inner lane is for. And on top of that, there may not be an opportunity to do that. So you're now sitting behind that person, getting real pent up. But the funny thing about it, and I use the word funny, sarcastically, is that most times that person is none the wiser of all the expletives you may be saying. It's the person who's in the car with you, or you there setting up your blood pressure, and that person is just simply there on their phone, drinking, or going in their mind, F you if you want, overtake. You know, like my father just tell me, go for the rough. But again, all of this, the aggressiveness, the silent.
Before you move on, if I am doing the speed limit, which is 100,
right,
and you want to do 160, and I maintain in 100, you can't get mad?
Of course. No, the law states,
and you're not overtaking, then you're wrong.
But if I'm doing 100,
Salim, right? The law says, keep left except when overtaken. They even have signage. So you're not supposed to be in the beep beep lane in the first place if you're not
but
overtaken.
Speed limits on the highway.
So we both breaking the law. But so my thing is, who are you? You're not a police. Hold on.
Well,
you are not law enforcement at that point.
The aggravation coming, right?
No, you are not law enforcement at that point to determine that I break any law, because if I go over the speed limit, let law enforcement make that determination. But you at the point can't sit there and say, I am holier than thou and I'm doing the speed limit. So
yes, no, you could do that, right? And that's where I learned to manage.
You see my strips there? That strips is a level of anger right now.
Because it used to frustrate me too. Sometimes it is still trigger me, but as you were saying, I realized, of course, me cussing in the car, me getting on in the car, nobody not hearing me anymore. Now, just side note, what I used to do actually is just pull next to the person driving slow and watch them.
Well, that's what you do.
And here the T-Fed is. Yes, no, that's passive aggressive, right? But here the T-Fed. When I do that, they used to come in the lane, which means they know what they're doing.
They know.
But that's besides the point, because some people, because I've driven people, and years ago, when it was frustrating me, I did a little survey and I asked people why they do that. Sometimes it's fear, right? More women said that than men. Are in this lane, are comfortable in this lane, and not switching this lane. Right? So I understand, even though I don't like it, I understand it. Some people ignorant of the law, they don't know about that.
Take a taxi or ask somebody to drive.
Right. So
people
but
ignorant of the law.
We see that what Robert doing and why do
I find your hand gestures right through, boy. Your hand gestures a little aggressive, boy. I find it a little aggressive.
Right. And so it's an interpretation. So what I did, I learned to accept. I don't like it, but accept it. If somebody driving slow in that right lane, I cannot do anything about it, right? And I had to accept that. I didn't like it. I don't like it. So
you want to say I disagree? You know, you could. Let me tell you. Because let me tell you something. I see Trini. Let me tell you. I'm not calling any name, right? I'm not calling any names, right? But in my rally days, when I used to race on it, I would say, once we were moving the rally cars in, because you don't have real good Brembo brakes and all these other things, I would, and again, I apologize, it was wrong, but I would bumper you, what I mean, come right behind there.
But that is not a...
But it's wrong. But my point is, I have driven recently with Trinis, and we went on holiday in Italy, come back to the States, drove in the States, and those both countries don't tolerate that. They will be behind you, beeping you, carrying on, cause serious road rage. And the Trinis know to move immediately.
Yeah.
Why, when we come home,
you're comfortable home,
we know, like you said, you know that you're not supposed to be in that lane. And this is just one example of where we think, hey, I hope I could break the law. It doesn't, like you said, we know you're not supposed to be in that lane. I don't care whether you're comfortable or not. The law is the law. And I'm not being holier than now saying that I don't, in other ways,
fine. You're breaking the law either how.
You're breaking the law either how.
Yeah.
So my thing is, why if you go to the same country, these same women or these same other persons could know not to be in that lane, but because it's Trinidad, you could do it.
So let me ask you a question. So I think it was yesterday or the day before, I was on the highway watching my speed limit. I was doing 100 dead on.
You're lying, but okay.
No, I telling you.
All right, good.
And this Navara coming behind me now. I watching this guy driving up behind me from a distance. Right? Was it you?
No, not me, pal. I don't have a Navara.
I take this thing and I'll show you aggression.
You see what I'm saying? The aggression, boy.
I show you the difference between aggression and anger. And this man come bumper. I telling you, bumper. Right up to my bumper. We on the highway, we on the right lane.
Right. And you tell yourself you ain't moving.
So the first thing come to my mind.
Mash brakes.
What if I mash our brakes?
Yeah. Aggression, meeting aggression.
Now this. Had that happen, and I don't even mash the brakes, but just tip on it. For him to see the red light, and he just decided to pull either or and cause a collision, whether it be on the railing, whether it be trying to pull on the left side and hit somebody on the other side, or he had hit me. We end up in court. The law wasn't going to protect him.
It wasn't because the law still says you hit from behind.
Yeah, but regardless of that, it would have protected me. I was in the speed limit.
Right.
So, but if he send you in a tailspin now, by that nudge, send you in a tailspin, both of you all die. Guess what? You right, but you're both dead. So again, but coming back, apart from, I know we're going on the road of road rage, but what I was trying to point out is that just kind of triggered me based on the conversation. But I'm saying that what started it could have been an experience that you had in your environment. So like you hitting your brother burners, that built up that next step. So the road rage is only this step from what you have experienced, be it at
Not
work,
necessarily.
be it, I know I'm using the example of how we got to the road rage topic, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Advocate, Devil Advocate did.
Mr. I want to drive 160 on the highway and move.
Well,
get from here. Who tell you come here? And you still had to stay in the back. Or you still had to make yourself small and go on the left lane to overtake.
I'm marking your number plate, right? Next time you see me get a kiss, As I'm going down the road. But I'm saying that we are still in the conversation, as much as there's kicks and so on, is where is not only where is the aggression coming from in the anger, because when we hear these stories, we can't seem to understand this country that always uses in our tragedy, in our trauma responses, where everything is a joke, be it a hurricane, be it a flood, be it something else, is smile and make joke about it, impending, in war, everything is a joke, everything is a meme. It's our trauma response. But when we see stories where someone beat a woman, or goes into a home, invades a home, and beats an 85-year-old woman, or beats someone who has no connection. It's not like I'm breaking into my boss's home. No connection at all, but I'm beating that person. That aggression is coming from the fact that you have something pent up, and it's more than just, hey, you want my watch? Let me give it to my watch. No, you must take the watch, and you have to kick me up in my head. That is what I'm talking about. Where's that aggression stemming from, and what can we do, as we talk about always trying to be better as brothers? What can we do to sort of find another avenue to channel that and to deal with that trauma?
I don't think that would ever happen, because
what would ever happen?
That mindset change that you're talking about. From my experience, just observing, being a public figure, traveling around the world, I would have experienced that it really comes from two places. One of them happens to be dominance. The need to feel dominant in any situation. So I's the man, I's the boss, I's the this, I's the that. So I beat you up to keep feeling that way. I've seen it happen many times. And then society, and before social media. In Trinidad and Tobago, everybody wanted to be, I don't know if I could call names of deceased people. Can I?
Could do what you want, boss. It's your box, you know what I mean? Disclaimer right through.
In Trinidad, everybody wanted to be a Dolce, because it was published that he was a bad man, he was this, he was that, he was a gangster. He would roll up in the court with a short pants and a t-shirt and didn't give up. You understand? Then everybody wanted to be like a Abu Bakr. Take over the country, show them who's man, show them who's boss, show them who's this, show them who's that. And I feel like you look at Colombia culture, everybody wanted to be that Pablo Escobar.
Why? Why you think that is?
Because it was published as money, flaunting,
power.
Hot woman, power. Well, to me, nobody have power. It's just authority or temporary authority. Nobody's powerful. Superman and them had power to fly and burn down place with the eye and that kind of thing. But man, we just have temporary authority, But I feel like that lifestyle was published as cool. It was published as, if you wasn't a fella carrying around a 9mm on your waist, or an AK around your neck, you wasn't cool or you wasn't.
Right.
When you go in public, like when I go to events, you see them boys and them walking around with them big gold chain and all them kind of thing, and you'd hear people saying, and Johnny would be able to testify to this, you would hear people saying, hey, that so and so from down in Sawa, you know, and that so and so from Belmont, and that so and so from down in the thing, and the 6 and the 7 and the 8 and the 2 and the 1 and.
Right, but you see, even being that person, and I'm using the word celebrity or known in loose terms, right? It still enables something, and I believe this is my theory. What I'm going to speak for everybody, right? Because you will say everybody in Trinidad want to be Dolce and Abu Bakr and thing, right? But I will say everybody, all of us, we are craving freedom. And because most of us are not free, when we see symbols like that, so we see Sir Joel Chedi, he doing what he wants, so therefore he is free, seemingly.
That's what we think.
Right, but again, it's our concept of it, but it's still something we crave, and that's why we look at those people.
Yeah.
You use Abu Bakr in terms of, hey, he chose to take over the country. That is breaking the rules, so that is freedom. We look at it, the bad boys, they're doing whatever they want. So that is freedom, and that is something that we all crave, that most of us think we don't have. So therefore,
respect.
That aggression, right? And that anger first. So remember, anger is the secondary emotion. So I'm frustrated, I don't have the freedom, right? So therefore, but I don't have the solution, so therefore I become angry, right? And now, after that anger, now I have the aggression and I aim that at different figures, because what I think everybody essentially craving is freedom.
Do you know how many quote-unquote bad man is not really bad man? And Johnny would be able to testify to this as well.
Yes,
because
but I want
under that badness, when you talk to them in a studio, they come to produce a song. Oh, I know, kill this one, and I shoot this one, and I'm a Glock in my left and my
is the
AK
same thing
my
as
right.
freedom. It's
Listen,
freedom.
When you talk to them in studio, without behind the closed door, without this public eyes on them. So, bro, you grew up in this ghetto, you know, I mean, that life probably real hard. Nah, bro, when I was small, I used to go in church. I used to play the guitar. I used to sing in the church.
So
my grandmother them every Sunday, you know, bro. And
I'm going back again, freedom, because many people who, quote-unquote, go wayward, grew up in the church, right? And wherever church, it don't matter the religion. When you ask them, what they felt was restricted and not free. So I look towards something that will be free. Aggression can be germinated from emotion, but it don't have to be. Aggression could be still a strategy. Aggression could be a non-emotional action. Anger now is based out of emotion, and it's to understand that. I'll give you a quick example. I remember when I was 17, 18, and I had now started driving, and I remember going in this place in St. James for parts, right? And I remember I grew up in church, and you know, a polite youth, right? So I would go in the store to ask for parts, but everybody shouting.
Yeah. So that's not the language, that's not the culture.
I had to adapt an aggressive strategy. I wasn't vexed with nobody, right? Yeah. But I had to come and say, I want this thing, and break the line, because if I stand up, everybody, if you understand what I'm saying, so aggression could be a strategy. It don't necessarily have to be born out of emotion.
Well, then I think less people have like childhood trauma that causes their anger.
Exactly.
Over people who uses anger and aggression and ignorance. I would always put ignorance there, because you had to be real ignorant to not know that you're angry. You're going to apply aggression, and it's something stupid that you're going to do. You have to be real.
No,
you have to be
but not necessarily. But we really do need to go to a break.
Right.
But just to come to the fundamental, as you say, about childhood trauma, etc., we have to go back to the basics just before we go to the break. Human nature is male, female, man, woman, gender is to be enough. But if you go specifically, women want to be loved, right? At the very core, man wants to be respected. So if you look at the core of feeling disrespected is what then leads to other steps, which is then your anger, your aggression, because you're not feeling that you're getting it, whether known or unknown, whether you recognize that you're being disrespected or whether it's just a innate feeling, whether it's a subconscious environment. All of these different things would lead to that. But we definitely need to take a break. We're talking about aggression.
Are you battling diabetes, infertility, heart disease, or vision loss? Oxidative stress may be the hidden culprit, damaging cells and disrupting vital functions. The answer: antioxidants. Introducing N-Toxyl Fort, the super multi-antioxidant formula. With powerful ingredients like glutathione to detox and boost immunity, superoxide dismutase to neutralize free radicals, lutein and zeaxanthin to protect vision, and carotenoids to fight inflammation. Choose N-Toxyl Fort for powerful antioxidant support. Available now at pharmacies nationwide.
Upgrade your home this Christmas at Arima Door Center. We've got premium wooden doors, modern bathroom vanities, and LED mirrors in stock now. Designer shower heads for just $300. Plus, check out our stylish ceiling fans and hardware. Visit us at number 4 Cleaver Road, Arima. Call 642-3509 today.
Struggling with blood sugar swings, high blood pressure, or stiff joints? Take control with Aja Nutrition's powerful wellness trio. Berberine Plus supports healthy blood sugar. Blood pressure support helps keep your pressure in check. And Joint Aid keeps your joints moving so you can stay active every day. Don't wait. Choose Aja Nutrition for trusted, effective solutions. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Feel better, move better, live better with Aja Nutrition.
In this season of giving and sharing, the season where we show love and care to family and friends, we take this opportunity to wish you and yours a happy and holy Christmas and a prosperous and purpose-filled new year. May your season be filled with hope, love, and peace. And may your new year be bright, prosperous, and successful. Season's greetings to you from our family at Guardian Media Limited.
This is Manhood, and today's topic is aggression. Johnny, you came from hood life all your life, because in the United States you were in Brooklyn, which is considered, I don't know why, but hood, and of course here in Trinidad. What is causing this kind of aggression and anger within these communities?
All right. You have a good point, Salim. Coming from the States, coming from Trinidad, is a two total different environment. In the States, it's different. It's more like they're hustling on a block, hustling on a corner, they're making money, and they're not even studying other people. Once you violate the block and you're trying to take over the turf, it's going to be like a tussle, a fight, you know what I mean, or even death. But coming back to Trinidad as a third country is totally different. When I first came back in 2000, it was more like, you know, everybody knows the Cujo, the Fresh, and McNeil, and all of them. There was more like Rasta and Muslim back then. You know, maybe besides the numbers game, but the Rasta Muslim was more like, it was like more family, but different turf. Maybe those Muslims from Laventille and Rastas from each area, depends who you represent. But then after that, a couple of years gone by, in 2020, that's when the peace treaty came in, and I was involved in that one. And we made the Rasta Muslim peace, like a unity. That was a 13-year-old war. And that's where it came in. Then the numbers came in after that. I don't know why they formed the numbers, but the numbers is a new fab now, and it just isn't making no sense.
So they're just killing for what?
Power, turf, who gets control.
Do you think the music have a lot to do with it, though?
You're guessing or you know this?
Know this.
Okay, all right.
But what's the root cause? Like, where does the aggression? Because nobody's born angry or nobody's born violent. The fact that someone just wants to kill somebody, and I mean, yes, it could be that you're taking, you know, you're looking to get money and jewelry and whatever the case may be. But somebody killings are
unnecessary.
Well, killing is unnecessary for the most part, but the fact that it's happening, you know, we can't turn a blind eye to the fact that it's happening. Is it that people are, and this whole level of feeling disrespect is it that they're feeling abandoned? Is it that persons who are in sort of maybe better areas, because I don't like to broad brush. So say for example, when you say hood life, these labels sometimes, if you tell somebody they live in a particular area, then that's how they're going to see themselves. So I like to say maybe in certain ways it could be impoverished, but less developed in certain areas. Because you mentioned
life is I'm talking about the life, because I passed through different hoods in different, of course not in Trinidad, but outside of Trinidad.
But like you mentioned Brooklyn, for example, and I lived in Brooklyn, and Brooklyn have very, very upscale areas.
But Brooklyn hood life is like Johnny was saying, it wasn't really about killing people for no reason, right? It was more about hustle. It was a lifestyle. They knew,
it was turf and things like that. There was drugs.
So they knew the hood life was you wake up, you go out, you get what you need to get, you sell what you need to sell, organize yourself, make sure baby have thing. If you're still with baby mama, she around, make sure they're good, family safe, whatever. That was the life. It wasn't really the way it is now with the whole killing and that kind of thing. They weren't fighting for turf, and it was more like a respect, as you rightfully said. It was you come in my home, have to take out your shoes by the door. Understand that is compulsory. But don't come on my block with your shoes on, and now you want to put me out and you want to move in.
But what again? Before we close this segment, until I feel that there's a message in there on understanding, I don't like to end a particular in this topic, because it's a topic that we're not going to get an end to it, but at least we can get some sort of understanding to continue the journey of understanding.
Or something to try.
And something to try. Yes, we're leaving someone with nuggets, and I don't inherently, because like you, Johnny, I mean, I have done many shows. I've been into many of these what you may call hood environments, and I have a time. The kicks, the funniness, the brotherhood in certain ways. You open, you take a beer, you take a rum. I don't feel intimidated or anything. As a matter of fact, I remember when I did a marathon, and in my worst moment coming through, like just had nothing left in the tank, and I was coming through Beetham Gardens at that time, is those same brothers who went and gave me water and walked alongside me and had conversation that took me to the fact that I was able to get some more energy, reach Twin Towers, and complete the race. So I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but there's a reason why maybe to another person they may then show a level of aggression or there's anger, but that doesn't come from just turf. What makes you want to be part of that life must have a deeper meaning. And I'm not just talking about the persons who take part in criminal activity. I'm talking about generally in Trinidad and Tobago, or generally. But it's not necessarily just the criminal activity I'm talking about. I'm talking about the anger that the younger generation seems to have now, the men and even the women, because women, let's face it, women are part and parcel of that as well, because they need to say, hey, I want to see you with a certain car, or I want to see you with a particular, and if you don't have the opportunity, whether it be for quick wins or not, because even if it's not a quick win, do you have the same opportunity as someone else to be able to get that? Because you could be working real hard and just not make any money. And the woman might say, but I don't know, broke man. And therefore you are now pushing you to say, hey, I want that, or I want this woman. And we always say the power of the peep, so all of these things are part and parcel of what may then lead to these things. And I want us to kind of have that dialogue and that conversation here now as to what are some of the things, the underlying things that are leading to these behaviors, these perceived feral behaviors that then lead to these violent killings for what we look at as for no reason. But there is a reason.
There's always a reason. And I will start with the premise I was given before about freedom now. Right? All of us, from since our childhood, we have certain goals we want to accomplish. And depending on the goal, we will taught a certain trajectory, where it is go to school and do this, or study a trade and do this, etc., etc. Now, supposedly, and I'm saying supposedly because I like how you asked or challenged him on the hood concept, right? Because I grew up in Belmont, right? Belmont now is more of a quote-unquote hood, right? So the perception of, and if you feel like if you feel like I from the hood, I have no solutions, then you'll be frustrated. Or the solution that is presented to you is rob somebody. Or the solution presented to you is I have to use aggression to get something. And I can't see any way other than that, then I'm going to use it. So I'm saying, we're going back to what caused anger, what caused aggression, is the lack of solutions. And if you feel like you don't have a solution, so I from X area, that everybody thinks something wrong with me, nobody want to hire me, nobody want to do this. So even though I trying hard, I still not getting hired. Even though I'm doing this, I still not getting. Even though I ask for something, nobody coming in and fix wherever it is I need fixing in the area. Then I will get frustrated.
So you have to change the mindset and the narrative, which comes back to what Johnny was saying at the start, why you are no longer of that behavior and that belief that may have brought you to that level. Like you said, you're wiser now. Yeah, what then would be some of the tools? Because a lot of times you may not have a solution, you may still not have the money, you may still not have the job, you may still not be able to fix something in front of you or take care of someone. So how do you then, what are some of the tools that you have done in your environment to get you to the point to say, accept that I can't change? There's that thing about change the things that you can't change and accept the things that you can't, but that doesn't mean that you're just going to lay back and just be, okay, well, F it, I'm a quiet quitter, or the world is against me, and you get all pessimistic and victim mentality. But where you can say, okay, well, let me push forward in what I can and be okay. And when I say okay, not happy, because there's a difference between being okay and happy. Being okay with, I can't do this now, but this is what I can do. What are some of the things, Johnny, which is what I want to get for those young people out there, and even myself, to understand, how do I take back some level of control?
I ain't gonna lie, so I don't
run up behind him when I see him in the traffic and say, get out the lane.
For all that anger stuff, I ain't gonna lie, I go to the gym, I work out, let my frustration out in a gym. Punching bag, run around the savannah, you know what I mean? It keep your mind off things, off negative.
Johnny, I can't see you run around the savannah, let's be real.
I did a couple of times.
I can't even see you do not pull up.
Pull up is my thing. But besides that, the youth in them now, like I said, they just have to get more enthusiastic what they got to do. If they decide to play sports, they could do something else on the side, like, I don't know, whatever you're good at. You know what I mean? You got some youth now could draw, or be a good phone tech, or even some of them play a lot of video games too.
Yeah, but that moment come now, John. I say in that moment of anger, you answer you yourself now. In that moment of anger, you ain't saying, let me go to the gym, let me go and run a savannah.
I'll give you a solution that I've given many parents, whether it is for anger, whether it is to help train focus, etc. Is to help train your children to critically think. Right?
Yeah, too.
Because if you just give your children things without them working for it, right, then that's how they will view the world. I expect to get things whenever I want it.
But some of those kids, some of them don't have father figure. That is the reason what's going on.
Right. No.
The mother's working 2-3 jobs, and the kid's not getting the full attention they were supposed to get.
Fine.
That is going on in the hood right now.
I'm with you there, right? Now, I'm not discrediting that, because even within a single parent, whether it is mom, dad, whoever it is, even if it's granny doing it, right? What I've noticed, and I see people of all stratas, right? What happens a lot of times, especially with modern day children, modern day meaning within the last 5, maybe 10 years, is because under the guise or the illusion of I want to give my child whatever they need or whatever I didn't have, they just hand children things, right? And what happens is children, whether you're poor or not, right? come up with the concept that I need something now. Whenever I ask for it, I supposed to get it. So then when I don't get it, I become frustrated. And depending on the child, depending on the environment, depending on what affects, it will manifest in different ways. So it can manifest as a spoiled child, throwing a tantrum. It can manifest as, you know what, well, this not getting it now, so it have a gangster down the road who he could make sure if I sell this again, this now, depending on the environment, that happens. Now, why I'm putting it that way, because parents, believe it or not, are the first step to teaching a child anything. And there's not, you have no perfect parent, right?
But in the absence of the parent is what Johnny we talking about.
So in the absence of the parent, now if the parent not there, then I can't speak to a parent because they're not there.
They get bad influence, because when they see stuff and they can't get, they're gonna do wrong things.
So now I add it. Now
let me, because I wanted to put it into context. What I don't want is people listening on now. You're gonna get two things. One, a lot of times when we give advice, it's always from the perspective of it's easier said than done.
Right.
You know, so it's just that we'll just do this, and then from the person who's receiving that information is saying you don't understand what I'm going through.
No.
So how do we bridge the gap between easier said?
Single parent home.
But what about person don't even have that? Because even if you may have a mother who is, in the absence of a father, that mother, as Johnny said, is out there working, out there trying to live her life, and you're then being brought up by your environment. So someone listening is going, okay, well, we know what you're going through. What are some of the things that you can do apart from sport and doing pull-ups and running around the savannah? Because some of them can't even leave the environment because of whatever might be the gang association or environment that they're in. What are some of the things looking on that you can go as a step, not necessarily the full solution, but a step to say, this is one thing that I can do to introspect, so that because remember we spoke about at the start, where not everyone is going, I'm going to introspect or look back or reflect and realize I did something wrong. You might not even know that this could be an aha, a penny drop moment that they can say, okay, this is something I can do, even if it's to say breathe.
Well, so then now this is not me asking somebody external and saying it's their responsibility, right? But there are certain things. So like in many areas, there's like a police youth club. So if it have no parents available, that is something that the parent could enroll. So while I'm out at work, you could spend sometimes even the day in the youth club, because they have that now.
They have that now. They're doing it, but they need more.
Right, I hear you that. So I just gained some news today. Yes, we need.
And I want to hear what that more is. I want to hear what can if we want to speak specifically about these environments, right? Then let's talk about that for a moment. But I'm trying to get generally the angle of the youth.
You understand this, right? You need more. But then let's say somebody here the area that we need a youth club in X, Y, and Z area. The minute somebody here way up there, good boy.
Each areas don't have youth club. I know
but it's not just these areas is what I'm trying to get. The anger is not, we're speaking about these people particularly because, and the reason why we're bringing it up is because of the criminal activity that we've seen and heard and the media, etc., etc. But it is these young men in these areas are in another environment, are no different with the anger and the aggression that they're feeling
they need motivation
in many other areas.
They need motivation.
Let's be real.
They need motivation.
There's other people getting away with it because of the environment.
It's all about the mind too.
Okay, so
parents is always say as a defense mechanism that you make the child, you don't make the mind. I think that parents uses that to take away the shine from them that they didn't do what they were supposed to do.
Get out of jail free clothes.
Because as much as I agree with it, because my father died when I was a year and 7 months old, right? A mother and a sibling and that kind of thing. And I had to figure out from very young in life, what am I going to do? Because growing up, I went to school, everybody celebrating Father's Day. I didn't have that. Everybody, my father picking him up from school. I had to walk. Sometimes my mother would come pick us up, things like that. And I had to figure out life and responsibilities came at me how fast he does drive on the highway. And I had to figure out how to either control or lose control. What am I going to do? So I had to become a man from young. All right? Then you had to fit into society. No, I wanted to be a child. I wanted to go and take up the pot cover and drive around the house. I wanted to do that. But then I also knew you had to help mom wash your wares because mom going to do this and do that and whatever. Then I became a teenager, and becoming a teenager, I wanted to run down girl. But then at the same time as a teenager, I wanted to run down girl was costing money. And then it had no food home. Or the bills had to pay. Which one was more important? Then I was like, all right. I could remember from the very first time I started to earn $1, my mother didn't have to lift a finger to this day to pay a bill or to worry about groceries or to worry about anything. Because I had to then take up that mindset as to two things could happen to me because I don't have a father figure to clout me down when I reach home for doing something stupid. I could either be successful or be in jail. And I had to make that choice as a teenager. And I was like, Now, mom was there the whole step to ensure that she did what she had to do to at least show us the good side, quote unquote, the good side of life.
Correct.
But then you went to school and it had drugs and it had rum and it had cigarettes and it had gills and it had all these things and you're exposed to that, and guess what? Mommy wasn't there. And you want to be a part of it too, so you play the ass a little bit too. You smoke a cigarette, you take a drink, you touch up a girl, all that kind of thing. And you reach home and then reality hits you again. So I said to myself,
Did you want attention?
I don't think I necessarily wanted attention. I think attention came to me naturally, just by personality. I was never a down kind of guy to come and kind of damp me a mood. I was always smiling. And
did you want to be like somebody when you was going to school?
I don't want to be like nobody because I don't think anybody.
When you was young, you didn't want to be nobody?
I don't think anybody could have been like me. So I didn't want to be like nobody.
So you're saying you never had a role model? Like, I want to be like this person.
I don't think there's anybody in this world that anybody could pinpoint and say, Salim reminds me of him. There's nobody, because I wanted to be unique in my way, and only I could do that.
When I was young, when I went to the...
You wanted to be Johnny Bravo?
No.
So why had him a name for?
No, I didn't have it.
Why does it look like him for?
The streets gave me that name.
But why does it look like him? A big on top and a small underneath.
Johnny Bravo is, that's enough about you. Let's talk about me. That's his tagline.
Yeah, let's talk about me. So anyways, when I was young, I ain't gonna lie to you, I wanted to be an FBI agent. I wanted to be, but I didn't lead to that. So when I went to the military, of course, I didn't stay long. I stayed 2.5 years. I ended up decided to become a bodyguard. I ain't gonna lie to you, my parents didn't want me to do that. They said it was dangerous. And I didn't listen to them. I just kept continuing and keep pushing myself. My sensei was DeAndre Kennard, and I just kept become the best I could be. Then after I did, Notorious B.I.G., the LL Cool J, and I came back home in 2000. I became focused. I did all the Jamaican artists I can think of, soca artists.
But who you wanted to be like?
What to be like?
Yeah. Who was
wanted to be Marshall? Who wanted to be?
No, just be the best I could be in my job, and that's what I did. Because
so that you could understand, like Salim, the same way he didn't want to be.
Yeah, I wanted to be a pro football player, and I couldn't make it. I got an injured knee. Then I couldn't be an FBI agent because
I don't think you should tell everybody you have an injured knee. Yeah,
because they kick you down into one burners. But we need to come to a wrap on this particular episode. And like I said, it's always about the journey.
The solution is individual, Robert.
Correct.
Yeah,
but what in here we can each leave in our own experiences or our own thoughts as to how we would have dealt with things in our own way, because we had choice. We had certain environments. Not everyone has. People always say, you hear it all the time, you always have a choice. Yes, but your choice between life and death it might vary, depends on your environment. Mm-hmm. And that choice to live or that choice to die or that choice to say, hey, I'm going to have a lavish life is a bit different in certain circumstances. But overall, I would say that it seems, Johan say that aggression is a step it's just something that I don't know whether in a pessimistic way that it's not something that you're going to get rid of. It is just par for the course, so to speak, of how you learn and what choice you make at that particular point. And choice being, are you fortunate enough to be brought up in a certain environment and have that penny drop? Did someone impart some sort of wisdom on you to curtail maybe that aggression or lead you down another road? Or is it that you have not been advised, led, mentored, and therefore this is your path because somebody's got to have and somebody's got to not have?
Correct.
In life.
But why somebody have to not have in order for me to have? It shouldn't be like that. I think it's enough for everybody.
If everybody was a billionaire, buddy, would the
but
money
we could all be a billionaire.
Yeah, very utopian, Salim. Very utopian.
But what are we doing?
Reality.
You see, it's like what he was just saying, right? Scrolling through social media and looking for things that you don't have and whatever, right? In that same breath, why it is, like you said, we so, as parents, we so want to give our kids the things that we didn't have, which is the quote-unquote betterment. I get real cutters when I was small. My mother beat me with everything you could think about. You could call anything right now, I get licks with it. Anything.
But I'll give you a licks with this cup right now if we don't finish this episode.
My mother beat me with air. I get licked to the breeze, all kind of thing, right? And I find I turn out to be all right. If we live in the quote-unquote...
According to you, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm happy with myself, so that's important.
It is.
So the quote-unquote hood, right? Why it is that we are bringing children into the hood and raising them in there. Why are the parents not saying, hey, I have a child who is born in this area, and this area is known for whatever, but let me instill different values and morals into my child and show my child that, hey, I came from this,
finish it thought.
Yeah, finish it thought, but I'll tell you what.
I came from this life. I know what this life is about, and I don't want this life for you. Rather than, hey, I can't wait to see when he is 5 or he's 10, we are long in the back, then is rat-tat-tat. Load up the matic and empty the clip.
Because you're seeing it from where you sit. When you're in an environment that you're born into a particular environment where you may not even be able to leave that environment because of whether it be gang warfare or just public perception, when you can't put down a particular dress, you may think you can empathize with that, but you can't, and therefore you may shake your head and say,
I disagree with you.
And that's fine. That's what the show is about.
Where did Akil Hussein came from?
And you always have persons. We have so many of our sporting personalities who have achieved, but that doesn't mean that it's acceptable to have them training in particular places. It doesn't mean it's acceptable for what Kishon Walker, J. Hugh Gordon, Richard Thompson, all these other persons who have achieved so phenomenally for
lawyers,
Trinidad and Tobago.
Came out from these areas. The lawyers.
But you have the anomalies. But to say that I can't understand why a person would do that is you have not walked a mile in their shoes.
No, but you can't say that. No, but I did, but in a different area.
No, but you understand.
But I did. But I know what it was.
But he's telling his truth, He don't understand.
Agreed.
And agreed. He don't understand it. So
no, I'm saying that I do understand. Let me tell you something. I know what it is to be 17 years old and leave my country to go and live in another country to make $1 to ensure that home was secured,
Right.
On my own with nobody and no family and no friend.
But you don't understand. You can't say what it is like to live in Laventil,
or Beetham,
Westmorelands, right? I go with anywhere.
Yeah.
You understand your context, which is fine. So I'm not taking away
from your lens,
that, right? And what Robert's saying is, and what we're trying to do, which is maybe impossible, but to give as much advice as we can to as many different scenarios. Which, as you said, Kevin, that is really on a personal basis. So as you wrap, I'll say, and then I will wrap. Is that whoever watching, whether it is single parent, 2-parent home, no parent around, even if you're hearing this from a granny, whoever it is, solutions, right? Solutions sometimes don't come readily. So therefore, we face some kind of frustration. But this is my belief, and I could be wrong. There's a solution to every issue, right? Sometimes it take 10 years to accomplish a solution. Sometimes it could take 10 months. So part of what we're doing even here is troubleshooting. We troubleshooting, and that is how I think life should be. And sometimes if you think it only have one route, I have to get a degree, I have to do this, I have to do that, then you're wrong. I'm not saying that route wouldn't work, but there's no one size fit all. So what I would say to anybody watching, whether it's a parent, elder, whoever it is, child, whoever it is, try as many different things as possible. And if one thing don't work, it doesn't mean that it's a disaster. No. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Try as many things as you can, because if you believe there's no solution, you will start to get the anger. If you believe there's no solution, then you will feel that aggression towards wherever it is, the world, the government, the WASA. You know, people is always try to are looking for the biggest man to hit, right? Because if I believe there's no solution, then I'll be aggressive. So my closing is, there's always a solution. Troubleshoot as much as possible. A solution sometimes could take a long time, but for me, there's always a solution to an issue.
For me, it's very simple. Practice speaking to yourself in the opposite direction. So if your mind is telling you to do something that may cause harm to yourself, to your family, or to someone else, speak to yourself and say, not today. I wouldn't do it today. Start speaking to yourself positively. Start instilling into yourself that I'll make it happen. The one thing that I want you all there, and even you all in here, to stop doing is stop having hope. Because there's a difference with hope and faith. Hope is for the hopeless. Hope means that you will only want good things to come. I hope to win the lottery, and I hope to become a millionaire, and I hope to get a big house, and I hope to drive a big car. And if it doesn't happen, you get disappointed, and then you start with the anger and getting angry and whatever. Faith tells you that, hey, life isn't perfect. I will hit some lows in life, but I have faith that I wouldn't stay there. I will come out of that. So try practicing these things. Talk to yourself. Stop using the word hope, because hope is for hopeless people. I hope to win the lottery, and I hope to this, and I hope. But if you have faith in what you put out into the universe, you're going to manifest it one day.
Well said. With Master Salim and Jonas, you did a real good job saying those things. My solution, I will say, just play sports. Go to the gym. Work out. Relieve your anger, your stress. Because after you finish, you feel like, you have a next thing to do, and you don't have to be studying, you want to beat this person or kill that person. Just stay focused.
Well said. Well said, gents. And again, one of the things I always like at the end of each of these topics is the understanding that it's not just the start of a conversation. It's definitely not going to be the finish of a conversation. It's the journey to finding a solution and to continue talking. What we always aim to do here on Manhood is to continue talking, and that is a huge part of what my message will be here today. And to echo a lot of what you gentlemen would have said, is to find that avenue, whether it be having faith, whether it be going to the gym and doing pull-ups like Johnny Bravo here, or whatever Johan say many persons may do. For me, I pickleball, it's hiking, forest bathing. I'm a huge believer in forest bathing. Whatever that is, but more than anything else, as you alluded to and pointed out, when you talk about faith, is to look at that moment and to turn to what I believe is God as the highest power, but whatever you believe in, because there's always that message, there's always that inner voice that you hear, and what is right and what is wrong, and to turn to that. And if you feel the persons around you that you can talk to, like how we talk here on Manhood, are not the persons that would lead you to where you want to be, then find those persons and align yourself with those persons. Tell yourself that, listen, if it's not going to matter in 5 years, don't give it 5 minutes. Walk away, take a breather, and make that choice to not make that particular choice, which you know is not in alignment with your spirit and where you want to go. So if within all of that, there's a very simple term, and it's simply to also breathe. Breathe, exhale, release all of that negativity, and make a choice as to who do you really want to be. The bigger picture. The bigger picture is what counts. God is the boss. So this is Manhood. Johanse, Kevin Da Costa, Johnny Bravo, Salim Behari, Master Salim, Cultural Ambassador, Celebrity Bodyguard, Behavior Change Consultant, all of these terms. We are men. We are all just like you. We all have gone through our own experiences, and we don't ever state that we fully understand what anybody is going through, but we're here to discuss. We're here to always keep the conversation going. This is Manhood.
Manhood, brought to you in part by Solomon Bespoke.
You're watching CNC